How can I cope with difficult people at Thanksgiving?
Wow. Well, it is that wherever it is that we are, we do not have this Thanksgiving, but it is our understanding and perspective that you all gather to eat turkey. And there is a lot of tradition around the food and the gathering and the setting. And it also appears to bring a lot of angst and emotional turmoil as you are connecting with your birth family often, and also your pod of energy of beings in which you chose to come into this life experience with. And because of that, they are the core foundation of energies in which, although you may not see regularly, are the ones that often trigger is a word used, many of you. And the reason they are triggering you is because they are puzzle pieces that were put in a particular place on purpose by your design, by the way, in order for you to practice your emotional mastery. Just like if you're wanting your physical body to get into shape, you have to challenge it sometimes. You might want to go on a run or use a weight or do yoga or breathe in a certain way or have a particular exercise to challenge the body to exert itself for its growth. And just like the physical body needs exercise, the emotional body does too. It needs opportunities for it to be challenged and for it to grow. And although you may not perceive it in this way, and there's no such thing as emotional exercising, it is that you are using emotional exercise every day, all the day, through your consciousness and what consciousness that you are holding, and your ability to be conscious itself, actually conscious and present. Often when you are with others who are what we call unconscious or not truly aware and not sitting from a seat of awareness, their personality behavior can sometimes aggravate or trigger you. There are many different tools, and we can talk to you if you're wanting to about some of the different ones in which you can utilize to support you in these gatherings. But we want you first to begin to step back a little bit from it, and from a larger perspective, perhaps, from the place in which you sat at the Council of Light with all of us and the ascended beings and masters as you made a written plan, a diagram, a blueprint of the beings that were essential in your exercise for emotional growth. And as you made that list and you chose the family in which you descended into form and matter to be with, they took their place on the chessboard. And what happens is when you get engaged in what you call the game or in the play of characters, it's sometimes hard to see it from a perspective in which you recognize that it's an opportunity to learn and to grow and to expand and to bring conscious awareness to become the witness to what's unfolding or occurring. So maybe if you think of it as a game when you're going to Thanksgiving and all the people and the family members or the friends or the ones that trigger you or even the ones that don't are just characters in a play, because that's really what they are. They're playing out their life script, and they're playing it out with a personality, and that personality was given a name. The character has a name. And that character gets so identified in ego that it begins to think that that's who it is. And that personality gets so formed and accumulated from their own life experiences that it densifies into an energy to be known as whoever it may be. And you have your own character that you're playing and your own role that you chose to play in this participant. And often you think about all those that you're meeting with at a gathering who might be triggering you, but is there wondering sometimes, are you triggering any of them? You may want to take some time to drop into that possibility, for it's easy to recognize when others are affecting you, but is your unconscious behavior or energy in any way affecting them? Take stock of that. And so what we're inviting you to do, first of all, is to intend. intention around anything, especially an event, is extraordinarily powerful and a tool very often forgotten. But if you intend or take 15 to 20 minutes prior to getting in the car with all the tension and the food, and if it's going to spill on the way to where it's going, or setting the table and cleaning and wiping the floor and cooking the turkey, or whatever is going on that is creating a momentum of energy, before that, early in the morning, before all of that activity begins, if you can sit and make a conscious choice for 15 to 20 minutes to drop deep into conscious awareness and into meditation, with the intention and usually using the senses of the human experience and visualization to see laughter, to see playfulness, to see joy, to see your energy, to see yourself observing, witnessing, and watching the unfoldment of this beautiful gathering with gratitude, and to perceive and see yourself either when your company has left or as you're leaving the event, to feel a sense of peace and gratitude that it went well and you enjoyed yourself and you had time together and you cherished it, and you were able to put aside other energies and see it with a sense of lightness. So we want you to play a game after you've done this intention, for this intention alone is so much more powerful than perhaps you may give credence to or recognize. It might seem silly, but it intends and pushes into motion the energy of the day and the other beings that are being connected to you in that day, whether they are conscious of it or not, pick up on that energy and begin to move with it. So instead of you dropping into a negative energy, be the force that infuses a positive energy of a momentum moving in the direction of gratitude. For it is our understanding that this day is about gratitude. It is about the blessings of not those who are triggering you in their behavior, but all the wonderful things that are happening, that you have your breath, that you're alive, that you're well, that you're together, that you have food, that you have a roof, that you have warm water, that you're safe, that all the things that you can bring into gratitude. And if there are things missing, if a loved one has passed, or even if you find yourself alone, find things that are moving in your direction or your life that are magnificent, that you have gratitude for, even the simplest things, and place your attention on that, or use the time to be quiet and solitude and stillness and nurturing and care for yourself. We invite you all, perhaps in the morning after your meditation and visualization, instead of feeling panicked about the things that need to get done, to perhaps take a nice warm hot bath or to take a nice long walk, and to give yourself permission to take care of yourself before you enter into this place. And what you're entering into is a play. And if you can enter and walk down the theater corridor and take your seat in the audience and perceive from the perspective of a distance in which you're conscious instead of unconscious, and you become the witness of the day, and you see the characters up on the play, on the stage, and they're playing their part, and they each have their name and their role. There may be the mother role, there may be the one that's overbearing, there may be the one that talks about politics and argues, there may be the one that's quiet and goes off and does the dishes to get away from everything, there may be the children interjecting, there may be the controlling, bossy one, there may be the shy one who doesn't really say anything. There's all different beings that are playing their part in this play. And if you can drop into consciousness and choose to arrive as the witness sitting in the audience watching it, just like you actually were watching a play with people acting out their own personality and characters, you step back from it and you see it for what it is, and the lightness of it and the humor of the unfoldment of the human experience and all the different personalities and ways of being that are unfolding. And when you do it from that perspective, you become a witness, in the audience you become conscious. And when you hold consciousness, you're able to hold it without taking something that someone might say personally, or as it is being afflicted upon you, but rather just a watching of the unfoldment of their blueprint and their role that they're playing. And then you get to choose how you're going to react to their character, in your own character, and you get to drop into, well, what character do I want to play today? And many of you may have different characters you want to play. It may be the time in your life to play the character of strength with boundaries and to stand up for yourself. You might need to play the character of the opposite, to just be quiet and to be there and compassionate, listening and watching and just bringing gratitude. You may choose to play the character of joy and humor. You might want to bring games or divert the energy in a different way. Try something new. Play a game outside, or if you cannot do that, play the gratitude game, or bring some cards, or change the dynamics to how it always is to something different. Instead of saying, oh, we always do this and that's boring and it's always this way. Well, choose something else. Change it up. Be the injector of joy. You might play the energy of the one who chooses to just be with the children. But perhaps the characters in the play are too overwhelming or overbearing for you, and you choose to just disengage. Not that you're angry with them, but you don't want to engage in their part, and you find the little ones, and you just sit on the floor with them and make a puzzle or play with their little cars on the floor or play hide and seek and engage with them. Maybe you don't really know them that well. The children are often a place of solace to drop into the presence of the now, for they are not projecting the future. They are not projecting the energy of the beings there. They do not have long-term connections that are triggering something inside of them, and so they are able to just be present. And if you have children present at your gathering and you can align with their energy, you feel the joy and the gratitude. So we invite you to take time in the morning to meditate. We invite you in the morning to intend what the day is. We also invite you to invite Archangel Michael, who enjoys and is delighted to come and to surround you with a coat of armor of golden blue light and his large, big wings to protect your energy so that you feel safe. I invite you to choose what character you want to play in the play if you're going to engage, and if you're not going to engage, to sit in the audience and to just step back with a conscious awareness in a way perhaps you never have before, and just watch. Be the observer. Be the witness of what's unfolding without allowing it to trigger you, but just to see it for what it is. And as you see it from that larger perspective, you'll often realize that the one who may be triggering you or difficult or that you're avoiding in any given situation has a personality that has simply accumulated a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of what you might call in your language baggage that has brought them to where it is that they are, and they too inside are suffering and may be feeling anxiety or angst or stress about coming to this gathering, and they may not be in their sense of ease. For we often recognize in some of these situations where you may behave differently that you don't when you're not with your family, and others, believe it or not, are doing the same, where they may be more relaxed with family members or in a different gathering with friends than they are in certain situations. So have patience with them. Have compassion with them. Bring love and forgiveness. And when you bring it to them on the table and you serve to them compassion and you serve to them forgiveness and you serve to them a willingness to be present, we ask you to have them pass it back to you, and for you to pass to yourself compassion for yourself, taking care of yourself, recognizing if this is something you even have to do, and if you want to do. It may be the first time in your life you just choose not to do something you don't want to do. You may not even go, and that's okay too. the idea of opening up to larger perspectives about what it is that is serving you and the highest good, and where it is that you are on your spiritual journey, and your ability to be that witness, that observer, and to bring compassion and love and patience. And if you feel as though you cannot bring love, compassion, and patience, that you're not there right now, that the energy is too difficult, perhaps you need to bring the energy of boundaries. And if that's your energy, then maybe you need to take a pass and give yourself permission to that. It's just a day. What would actually happen if I didn't go? What if I actually did what I wanted to do with the people that I do love? Or maybe you decide just to be with your husband or your wife or your small nuclear family. What if you don't do what you've always done and you take care of yourself? Is that even an option in your mind? And if not, does that mean you're not loving and nurturing self? We're not encouraging you to break up family gatherings in any way. We're just asking you to invite yourself to look at the bigger perspective and see if you're willing and able to drop into compassion and forgiveness and to bring joy to the situation and to interject a momentum of something positive. And if that feels too much, perhaps look at the opportunity for something else. There are a couple games that you can do too. When you're about to sit down at the meal, maybe you all get up first before the turkey is served, and you just stand in a circle, and everyone expresses what they're grateful for, whatever that may be for the year, or perhaps for the day. Or perhaps you sit around the table, and as you go around, lots of people are talking about subject matters that are difficult or disturbing or that you don't want to engage in, that create arguments, such as the classic religion or politics. Maybe you say, well, let's all play a game tonight, talk about what our highlight was for the year. We don't see each other often. Tell me what your highlight this year was. And you each take turn and listen. As you go around, you may learn something new you hadn't learned, to open and engage the conversation into something special and different. So with that, we understand that was a lot of talking about Thanksgiving, but we recognize that many of you are writing in questions about this because it's on many of your minds. And the way in which you master your emotional energy and its capacity to be in stillness, in awareness, in the presence of the now without projection. Come as you are now, not as the little girl that sat at the table as a child, not as the little boy, not as the way that you were affected by a family member, but who you are today. And allow yourself to see who they are today without putting on a judgment of who they have been or should be and what role they should play in the play or what role you have played. Maybe you're going to change some characters, change the roles up a little, and do something different. So open up to joy and gratitude and playfulness and the space of conscious awareness, even with those who are unconscious.